Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are, whoever you are, whatever the time may be. Welcome back to the channel, or for the first time if you're new around here. My name is James, aka Widowed, and this is your guide for a Mercenary Grenadier Gemling Legionnaire in patch 02, 0.2? Dawn of the Hunt! Dawn of the Hunt! It's day 3 of Dawn of the Hunt! Don't know why I did that. This is your guide. I've never done a build guide before, so forgive me if the format is different to what you're used to. I am still relatively new to PoE, but somebody asked for this, and yeah, my build's pretty strong. I'm doing well at the minute. I've blitzed through the campaign, I've just started maps. Unfortunately, I did lose my first corrupted nexus due to the game crashing, so I kind of have to go find another one of those now, because it's a blank map now, which kind of sucks. But I've had no problems in maps from the actual build itself, just from game crashes. The build itself has been doing very well. As you can see here, my explosive grenades currently at level 68, just a few levels into the end game, are at 22,333 damage each. And every time I am firing 3 of these bad boys with quite a lot of overlap there, so we can get about 66,000 damage per time I press this button, if everything lines up right. And then on the cluster grenade side of things, it's kind of similar. We've got 3 of these 5,000 blasts, but then they separate into 14 mini grenades, which also do 3,000 each. So, you know, we got a massive amount of explosions here, and that's basically what we're working towards. With fragmentation rounds, this is what you use for a lot of the campaign, and it's going to be just your way of clearing things, like just getting things down quickly. If there's a couple stragglers, you just pick them off as you're running in the opposite direction or whatever. But for the most part, as we're running through maps, you're going to see like a lot of bomb rolling. The old Samus bomb. If you've ever played a Super Smash Bros. Game with Samus in it, like this whole thing. And then we just let the mobs die behind us as we carry on. I will get into a map here in a few minutes, but I should go over all the actual build stuff first. So for explosive grenade, I've got less detonation time, 25% more weapon elemental damage from primal armament, another 25 but can't inflict elements, that's fine, we don't give a shit. And 30% more area damage but less area of effect. Now this is going to change throughout the campaign depending on which point you're at. At the start of your build, you're gonna probably just have these first 2 with Expedite and Scattershot. You could swap Expedite for like extra area or something like that if you feel like you need it. It kind of depends where you are on the passive tree at any given time, and you don't want this concentrated effect really until you have enough area of effect on the passive tree to allow the grenades to still have a decent size. I think mine, mine end up at 2.1 because they would be 3 meters otherwise. So yeah, you're gonna have probably Scattershot until you get yourself a Grenadier crossbow and you get the extra grenade fire node on the passive tree. I will fully go over the passive tree in a minute too. But yeah, these are going to change through the campaign, and obviously these ones as well are tier 3, so you're not going to get them until close towards the end game. But through the campaign you will probably have Expedite and Scattershot on until you can get 3 grenades without it. Cluster grenade, you don't really get this till the end of the campaign anyway, but we're basically beginning to set it up the exact same as our explosive grenade. The only difference is that we can scale it with physical hit damage better than elemental damage, because it converts only 20% to fire and 40% to fire on the mini grenades rather than like 80, which the explosive grenade does. So we can put heft on here once we get our tier 3. But by the time you got close to grenade, you've probably got tier 3 supports anyway, and then yeah, you can just start filling it out the same, basically. Maybe not this one, I don't know how that'd be with the mini grenades, it might make them too small. Haven't had a chance to test it yet. Fragmentation rounds, this is our bread and butter. Okay, so right now I've got heft on here, because extra physical damage. This is another thing, by the way. I'm a Gemling Legionnaire. It kind of goes hand in hand with the skills, but I can use every skill gem, every support gem, twice. Which is why I'm able to do the exact same thing on these, and just have 2 grenades with basically the exact same things on them, both being really powerful. And the end result of that is my grenades are never on cooldown, because I've got 6 charges. Really nice. Anyway, back to frag rounds. This is the key. Double barrel. You gotta use this motherfucker, or you're just gonna run out of mana constantly through the campaign. Get it as early as you can. I'd probably, for your first support gem, you probably want to get scattershot on the grenades. And then the second one probably wants to be double barrel on the shotgun. Or the other way around, depending on your personal preference. I like to have some life leech, and it did get buffed from 6% to 8% in this patch, so it seemed like a good place to slap it on. You can always just shotgun down some fools if you need to get some life back. And then, yeah, like I say, heft here. If you don't have heft yet, you can use brutality, of course. Although, I wouldn't recommend it if you've got anything that is adding elemental damage from your crossbow modifiers or your rings or anything. Gloves too. But yeah, this, it looks a lot lower than it is, but we're doing 2 shots a second when we fire this thing, and this is per fragment. Like, it fires 10 fragments. Per fragment deals 900, so it's actually a lot higher than it looks. If you times it by about 15 to get the actual number because of reload time as well. Maybe like by 14 to be more precise, but yeah, we get a lot more damage out of this than it looks like here. The armor piercing rounds is one that you'll only really use on a boss if it's armored. You'll use it more through the campaign as well, but once you get into endgame, things just kind of die for me at the minute. Well, at least that's how it's been going. Like, I haven't had a boss fight long enough to really want to make use of these, but break more armor, triggering explosion when they fully break an enemy's armor, and attack speed. Now, until you get these tier 2 supports, because these are tier 2s, it's going to be a lot weaker, so you might want to use gas grenade instead. And you might be wondering how gas grenade gets armor shred. Well, we put this corrosion on it so that it breaks armor equal to 80% of poison damage dealt. Then we can just make sure they're setting the gas cloud. It can be a bit awkward with certain bosses, especially ones that move around a lot, which is why I like to switch over to the armor piercing rounds. That combined with the fact that your grenades will explode the gas cloud, so you kind of have to wait for the armor to tick down. Like, this is okay as a package in the early game, while armor piercing rounds doesn't have great supports for it, but yeah, you replace it basically as soon as you can with this stuff. You could also go pierce here if you wanted to make sure you can like hit a boss through certain attacks or whatever. I just like my attack speed. And attack speed does help with reload speed in this patch, which is why it is extra nice to have. Siege Cascade, honestly, don't use that much. Gets used in maps if there's like tons of shit around. So this stuff is getting into the less important now at the bottom here. It's basically just our extra support. Feel free to pause on any of these so you can see exactly what they are. But it's just as and when we need them, you know, we'll throw a Hellstorm round down in the middle of a boss fight, we'll Siege Cascade if there's shit tons of mobs and they're all moving really fast, so I can't pinpoint them. That's basically it. And then we've got a Herald of Ash. This is the first spirit gem you want to get access to. It's actually pretty decent now. and I have Vitality on it. I also have Vitality on my Wind Dancer support that I picked up later. Is my dex broken? Apparently my dex is broken, but it doesn't appear to have turned off. That might just be some sort of bug. Maybe I'm actually one higher. Maybe it's to do with the Gemling getting like a reduction on what they have to have. Anyway, yeah, I've got just like the supports on these don't really matter that much. I've got extra life regen because I've got 100 spirit and no space to add an extra thing. And then at the end here, we've got Artillery Ballista, which has attack speed, increased totem speed, and some extra fire damage. It's just a nice little extra DPS tool to get in a boss fight, slap it down, let it do some work while you're doing whatever you're doing. Okay, that's the skills. For gear, I'm a solo Self-Found player, so there's no fancy uniques or anything here. All you want is the best crossbow and the best gear. Like, I said the best gear. Okay, more physical damage, increased physical damage on the crossbow is great. If you also have big mods like adds lightning damage, adds cold damage, those are fantastic too. The bottom half doesn't matter so much, though it is nice to get some leech on it, as that will make your cluster grenades heal you for quite a lot when they're popping off. Extra mana per kill is nice as well. I was kind of lucky with this weapon. I slowly upgraded it through, like, the campaign. Rest of the gear, there's honestly nothing fancy going on here. It's just, you know, standard filling in whatever resistances, health, or whatever that I need at any given time. I've only got a tiny bit of item rarity, though I did try and get some through the campaign. I managed to get one of these bear talismans from one of the Asmiri wisps, which could only be put on a helmet to give it 8% increased area of effect, which of course is nice for us as a grenadier. So yeah, the gear is nothing fancy at all. You don't need any particular, like, combination of uniques or anything to make this build work. You can just turn up in whatever serviceable gear. If you're full of magics, obviously, it's going to perform worse, but, like, you'll get there. You don't have to have too much. A good weapon is very, very beneficial. But I didn't struggle through the campaign. As long as you're upgrading your crossbow regularly through the campaign, you'll be fine. And as you can see, my resistances aren't capped yet. My armor and evasion are kind of low. I only just picked up these two nodes most recently to add a bit of armor and evasion to get some defense up, because my damage is feeling great at the moment. But yeah, let's talk about the passive tree. So we go straight down all the damage here, get extra projectile damage by the bucket load, and ignore this for now until you're in the later game. Get down here. Which stats you take are going to change drastically. You're going to refund these and change them between intelligence, strength, and dexterity at any given stage of the game, depending on what you need at that time. Just have it as the bare minimum, basically, because we use things from all three. The intelligence less so until we've got Jack of Trades online down here. Like, your intelligence isn't really relevant till you get to this point. You'll just have strength and dex before there. But then you'll start to pepper some intelligence in afterwards, once you've picked up Jack of all Trades for 2% increased damage here. We've also got 7% increased attributes here, which helps us go deeper into these non-attribute highway places that we are prioritizing a lot of, because we need some extra attributes to go with it, and it doesn't hurt our damage ever to get more attributes thanks to Jack of all Trades. After you got down here, so you probably want either strength or dex for these three nodes here, and you're also going to want to pick up the extra cooldown recovery rate. That's going to make your grenades a lot quicker. You'll get more as we go through the builds here, but yeah, any extra cooldown we can get on our grenades. They start off at 5 seconds. Right now my explosive grenades are on a cooldown of 3 seconds, and I've got 4 of them, so I'm basically, like, never running out. Okay, I can do 5 in a row before having to wait, but then we've got the cluster grenades to keep us going until the other ones come back. Just constant explosions here. So you dip back, get to cooldown rate, and then we come around here and go down all this tree except for this node because accuracy is irrelevant. If you do need extra dexterity boost at some point during your leveling process though, you can just allocate this and remove it later once you no longer need that dex. Definitely a thing. I'm actually going to change one of these intelligence nodes to a dex right now because I'm panicky about the fact that my wind dancer says I need a level 83 dex. So hopefully I didn't fuck something else there. Everything looks good.
I know what I was thinking.
Anyway. Here, get the cooldown, come down here, get all this stuff, you get a massive area of effect boost here, and a massive DPS boost here with 40% increased damage with two-handed weapons. I actually didn't pick this up till quite recently as well, just as an extra bit of DPS towards the end game. I haven't decided if I'm going to keep it yet, I may just get rid and go into some more evasion. But after doing this two-handed node cluster, you want to nip across here and get these projectile damage clusters for an extra 40% here. We do have some reduced attack speed, but we don't care because most of the time we are grenading or shotgunning, and they don't really care about attack speed that much aside from reload speed on the shotgun. So a little worse on the attack speed is absolutely fine to get massive amounts of projectile damage or two-handed weapon damage. And then once we're done up in this direction, like I say, you don't need this armor break or evasion in the early game. You're going to come straight down here and beeline through as much of this as you see fit. I don't personally get this node. 12% extra area seems a bit meh. And the grenades recently got buffed to their area anyway in this patch, so I feel like we're okay without this. The rest, though, you definitely want to get. Now, I come up this side first, personally, to get myself plenty more cooldown recovery and extra cooldown use. And then I'm not going to quite go to cluster bombs until I've managed to path down to volatile grenades, because this gives reduced grenade detonation time. This gives 50% increased, so I like to have this one before I get this one, basically, but that's just my personal preference. So once I'd got the Grenadier, I would come down here, get all of these nodes, basically, and then finish this off. My gem's nothing special. It's 7% life regen, 8 fire pen, and, yeah, totem placement speed, whatever that counts. After you sorted all this shit out, come down here and start your attribute stacking. You'll probably be in a part of the campaign where you're getting skill gems at a relatively quick pace, and you may be struggling to keep up with attribute levels if you have spent so many in other areas like this, like I have. So it's a good idea to just dip into here, work towards Jack of all trades first, because it gives any future attributes you pick damage as long as you pick them in the lowest thing. And as and when you need it, work your way towards polymathy. You know, if you need some more attributes, just grab some, but don't have to rush here. You just get them as and when you need them. You're more going to be interested to come over to this crossbow tree, get an extra 15% chance to repeat grenades, plus extra 12% damage there. Ton more 12% damage nodes. 15% chance to not consume a bolt is actually, it goes a long way. It does go a long way towards reloading and shit. And then we have some more reload speed here as well, as 25% increased damage for each ammunition fired in the past 10 seconds. So that means that if I fire a shotgun, my cluster grenades level up. And if I fire it, my cluster grenades, I think my explosive grenades went up there as well. Maybe they're not updating. Yeah, something didn't update right there. It's going to go down again in a sec. But basically, each ammo type you use gives you a 25% damage buff, which is just nuts. Even if you're just only using one, that's still a 25% damage buff. If you also switch to one and then go back, that's a 50% damage buff. Well worth picking up these nodes in the crossbow tree. I'm not too bothered about the extra crit stuff though, so I don't bother with that personally. I pick up Giant Slayer for extra damage against bosses and rares. And then once I'd filled out all this stuff at the bottom, I came over here to get my extra aerial effect for attacks along with cooldown recovery rate, which is just fantastic for grenades. It's exactly what we want. As well as armor brick duration and area damage. Again, more of what we want. I even got this node here for some extra area damage. And then, like I say, I finally came over here and down here. In terms of ascendancies, I actually started with my first ascendancy up at Crystalline Potential. It just gave me a lot more DPS through that portion of the game. And then when I got my third and fourth points, I refunded these and went straight into Gem Studded so that we can use each support twice, as I mentioned earlier when I was going over the skills. And Integrated Efficiency, which is actually crazy good. Like, this is amazing, y'all. I know people were doing stat stacking before with Gemling, and that's like the done thing, but we're not asked about that shit. This is amazing. 20% increased damage per socketed red gem. So it doesn't even matter if the red gem gives damage, right? Let me show an example here. Fire resistance. Penetrate fire resistance does not usually increase your DPS on the trackers because it's penetration, it's not tracked as DPS. But I get 100 extra damage, no, like 50 extra damage just for putting it in on this Siege Cascade because it's a red gem. Green gems give you more skill speed and more crit chance per blue gem. Basically, you want as many reds as you can, although I have had to shove this in here because it turned out to just be straight better than extra fire damage instead, due to the mods that I have on my weapons. But if you don't have lightning and cold mods, like added lightning or cold damage coming from anywhere, then you probably want to use fire, like added 25% fire to this. The one that we have down here, Fire Infusion, rather than Elemental Focus. Just something to keep in mind. But yeah, I'm just gone up here. Don't know where I'm going next, to be honest. This isn't terrible, but I'm not capped on my resistances yet. So it's probably going to be up to this way, and then we'll get +2 levels to all strength gems after getting a bunch of quality on them for extra niceness. I think that's about all there is to go over for the build. So I am just going to run a little map now. I've got a boss map that I am working towards a tower for, so why don't we just go do it. And yeah, I'm just doing tier 1s in a minute, because like I say, I've only done 5 maps, and half of them crashed on me because the servers were in absolute anarchy yesterday. So yeah, most of the time we're just sort of running through, bombing. Oh, there's a rare here, I didn't even realise. Wonder why I wasn't dying. Just throw a few bombs at him, wait for him to die. And then carry on. I like to call it the Samus bomber. I think I mentioned that already. Man, this lag is kind of making me panic. Let's just let the game catch up. Because, yeah, we're basically just constantly dropping bombs and rolling, getting iframes. Well, he just went down in one grenade. That rare. Granted, I'm only on tier 1, so I'm like 3 levels above, but I don't think that's abnormal to do. Oh, this is a corrupted map as well, so there's some sort of weird shit going on here. With a tower. Yeah, I will kill the boss and then like clear up the rest of the map in my own time. But as you can see, the clear's pretty good. And we're not having much trouble as we move around the map here. Cluster grenades are better for bigger groups, but they are also slower to go off because we don't have the increased detonation time on them yet. Only got a 3-link gem. But that will be the next thing I do put on them. When I get another Greater Jeweler's Orb. Oh yeah, and I've just got a stun charm on. If you've got an extra belt slot, a freeze charms goes a long way. But fortunately, I only have one charm on this belt. I needed the resistances on it more than the charm slot on my other belt. Occasionally just using the shotgun to clean up there, like I said. If there's a straggler or something. Ding. I don't like these towers, whatever they are. Guessing that's something to do with the corruption, but it's annoying. Cool guys don't look at explosions. That's what this build is. Fuck knows where the boss is hiding though. Let me just grab myself an extra 20% or 12% fizz.
Simple enough.
I can't tell if there's a rare still here somewhere. I think it's already gone. There's just these still. Is this a boss? No? Map's fucking huge! Full checkpoint. I swear maps have gone bigger. Right, well I'm obviously not going towards the boss right now, am I, when I'm going so close to the entrance, but... Apologies for all this running around. Me being bad at navigating maps is not part of the build guide. You feel free to navigate maps much better than I do. Oh, there we go. I actually see him now. How do I get there though? It's kind of awkward. It's got to be down here, right? Or up here. Such a big map. Never lucky. I can't respawn at checkpoint. Is it maps? Oh, I actually did all the rares already. I didn't even realise. Still come back for these strong boxes though. I will craft on them. Here we go. So we'll shove down our artillery ballista, we'll get our hailstorm rounds ready to go, and then drop a cluster grenade before he's about to enter. Spam some more grenades if you feel like you need it. Chuck that armor break on, but honestly he's already dead, so who cares. That's how you do that. Yeah, Grenadier, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. I've got another lesser jeweler's orb, so I can upgrade something. Don't really know what I care about, to be honest. Maybe hailstorm rounds. Maybe I just keep hold of it for a future account, because I don't think I actually need anything particularly. Suppose I could put some more damage on this at least. Yeah, like I say, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments. Hopefully I went over everything that you need here. If you want to see some more early game gameplay, I have some live stream VODs up for over the past couple of days that I did. So feel free to go check those out if you want to see gameplay from different points of the campaign rather than just end game here. I did some Act 6, and a lot of Act 1 and 2. Can't remember what else I did. I feel like there was another stretch in there where I did some, but yeah. Hopefully you all enjoyed the video, hopefully you find it helpful, hopefully you're having fun with this patch, because I'm having an absolute fucking blast, and a lot of people seem to not be on the internet. Hopefully you are. Let me know what your feelings are in the comments down below, and leave a like on the video, because it does help out a ton. That'll be all from me though. Until next time, look after yourselves, be lovely to one another, and I'll see you on the next one.